Okay, I originally wasn't gonna do a video today, but yeah, I just kind of read a story about the governor of New York basically let's just say doing something that a lot of politicians have been doing, which is just ridiculous. And that is basically blaming what happened yesterday in Buffalo on the video games or something associated with video games. Optimist, due to Optimist, he actually just recently uploaded a video, and by just recently, like a couple minutes ago, in which he basically broke the news that basically the incumbent governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, was blaming Twitch for the shooting. Yes, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, is blaming Twitch for someone else deciding to live stream him going to a predominantly black neighborhood and shooting and killing 10 people. Governor Hochul, let me just say this, Governor Hochul, Twitch is not responsible for this. Twitch is not responsible for this. And in fact, how about we ask you some questions? Because correct me if I'm wrong. Does New York have an assault weapons ban? And yet somehow he got a gun. Somehow he got a bulletproof shield. Now I'm not going to talk about all this gun control shit and all this bull crap. I'm not going to start a a crisis in the comments in my section. But at the same time, Twitch is not responsible for someone doing something so heinous. They don't have. They're not responsible for the content that happens. Twitch is a gaming platform, yes, but then again, nobody expects somebody who uploads a manifesto to drive 200 miles to Buffalo to commit a hate crime. The guy had did something like this before. He threatened to shoot up his school last year. He was sent to a mental health he had to seek mental health treatment. And yet 1 year later he goes and kills 10 people in a predominantly black neighborhood. This isn't about race. This isn't live streamer on Twitch did not fire that gun. Live streamer on Twitch did not kill those 10 people. The suspect killed the 10 people. He decided to live stream it. Plain and simple. Politicians who blame tragedies on video games, they deserve to be voted out of office. I'm a moderate, but at the same time, if I'm in New York, I'm kind of considering whether or not to either vote vote for an independent candidate and waste my vote, or vote for a Republican. And what happened with COVID-19, with all those restricted lockdowns, with all, not to mention with that scandal of the lieutenant governor being indicted for bribery charges on the same day that was kind of overshadowed by the Brooklyn subway shooting. Not to mention the fact that during the Omicron wave, there was bills that were on the books in New York that thankfully did not get passed that would have been restrictive. Like basically, I'm not gonna say on here because I'm not trying to get a strike on this channel. But yeah, it would have been the most restrictive COVID measures in the country. Now, of course, our thoughts gotta be with the victims and their families. Of course, thoughts and prayers aren't good enough, of course. This isn't a time to politicize any, but frankly, I can tell you this: if New York does not have a red flag law, I would kind of implement now. In fact, maybe there needs to be a national red flag law where you can, or a family member can petition the court to temporarily, italicize, emphasize the word temporarily, take someone's gun away, take someone's guns away from them if they are suspected of being a threat to themselves or others. Honestly, that's like the bare minimum. It's not like a permanent ban on assault weapons. It's not like anything restricted or anything. It's just literally just temporarily taking someone's guns away from them, if they're a threat to themselves or others. But we gotta do better because I just got bulletin saying there was a shooting at a church in California. The gunman was detained. Like, one person was killed, 4 were critically injured before churchgoers detained the suspect. We have got to get our crap together. But again, Governor Hochul, if I'm a Democrat right now and I heard this, I'm a young person, let's say in their early teens, early 20s. I'm kind of going to consider voting, registering to vote in New York, and I'm going to consider voting for a Republican. Because I can tell you this. What has to pass to say, 20 years brought you guys? You had Eliot Spitzer, who resigned to being caught up in the prostitution ring. You had David Patterson, the first black governor who had 2 baits who didn't run for re-election because of allegations of corruption or something like that. Not to mention, all 4 of his acting lieutenant governors were convicted of corruption. All 4 of them were convicted of corruption. 1, 2, 3, 4 convicted of corruption. Then you have Cuomo, lied about the nursing home deaths and COVID, and turned to be a sexual harasser, and then had to resign in disgrace, and he may be coming back to run for re-election, which, if he somehow gets attraction from like black and Latino voters, game over for Hochul. Because during the entire crisis with the sexual harassment, he actually had high approval ratings from black and Latino voters. If he still can attract the black and Latino voters and he runs for governor again, game over for Hochul. He can actually split the Democratic vote and Zeldin could win. And then you have Hochul here basically now blaming a hate crime on Twitch. I'm telling you, we gotta get the old guard out and we gotta get some young faces in there. Because I can tell you this, America's just gonna get worse. The career politicians that have been in government for like decades are in office. We gotta do better. Again, thoughts and prayers out to the families of those who were killed. Same to the family that has been affected by the slaying of a life in California in the church. I mean, folks, we gotta do better, folks. We have got to do better. Family Scott, signing out.